and it's another live broadcast. We really are live. It is 6:05 on Saturday, the 8th of June, 2019. Welcome, everyone. So I just thought I'd do a quick live broadcast now. Well, when I say quick, for the next 5-10 minutes, just a lot of people ask me about, and that's the onion-shaped septic tanks. Well, I'll tell you what people are asking me. If you bear with me a second, they are asking me, and this is the question I'm going to answer tonight. So bear with me. Let me just get this up now. All right. So the question they're asking me is, what's the best septic tank to buy? What's the best septic tank to install? Are onion-style septic tanks better than shallow dig septic tanks? And what's best, concrete or no concrete? That's the questions I've been asked. So I'm going to try and answer that as best I can. Okay, so let's crack straight into this. So what do I mean by an onion septic tank? Well, let's get straight into this. Okay, so let's show you what I mean by an onion-shaped septic tank. All right, so here we go. All right, there is an onion-shaped septic tank. Let me just get a bit closer there. All right, so that's particularly what we're talking about here. All right, an onion-shaped septic tank. Don't ask me why they're called onion-shaped septic tanks. They look somewhat like an onion, but they got a chimney on top of them. To me, they look more like a light bulb, an upside-down light bulb. So that's what we mean by an onion septic tank. So people like buying onion-shaped septic tanks because they're cheap. They're cheap to buy, but they're not cheap to install. And this is what the message or my tip of the day is, if I'm just coming straight to the point. Before you please buy an onion-shaped septic tank, please consider the entire cost, not just the upfront savings. So what do I mean by that? Okay, well, first of all, let me just show you a couple of, let me just take it from the top. Okay. So let me just get rid of the onion-shaped septic tank. Now, the hole, right, an onion septic tank is very, very, very tall. They start at about 11, 12, 13 foot high. So let me just show you a couple of examples here that I've got before, all right? So let me give you a couple of examples here. Okay, so there's an onion-shaped septic tank, and there's like a 7 or 8 ton digger. So you can see the size of these things. They're not small. All right. So here you go. There's another classic example. So these onion tanks are tall, right? They're tall. They're about 6 foot wide, and they can start anywhere from about 12 foot tall. So these are big mothers, these onion tanks, right? They're, don't be fooled by the size that you see them on the screen here. So if you're getting an onion tank, you've got to get yourself at least a 7, 8, 9, 10 ton digger, or you've got to get yourself a JCB. It's as simple as that. So yes, because they're fiberglass, they are about 200 quid cheaper to buy than other septic tanks. But suddenly you lose that 200 or 300 quid because you've got to get yourself a flipping JCB or a 7 or 8 ton digger to buy it. So instead of, say, paying 250 quid for the digger for the week, you're going to end up paying 500, 600, 700 quid a week for the digger. All right, that's the first thing. Secondly, right, and this is another mistake people make. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm just going to interject here. Don't get me wrong. I am not trying to demonize onion-shaped septic tanks. Full stop. Onion-shaped septic tanks came on the scene in the 80s, okay? Late 80s. And they were completely unique and original when they first come out. Suddenly you could buy these fiberglass septic tanks, and if you got a backhoe or a massive JCB, you could just dig a hole and slap them in and dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum. And so they revolutionized and moved quite a far away from the old big massive concrete septic tanks and brick built septic tanks. So the builders didn't have to take 3 weeks now to make a septic tank. They could buy a fiberglass one and put it in. But that was the 80s. Don't forget, about every 20, 30 years, technology really does move on. And so you're looking at old technology here. So yes, I am speaking maybe derogatory or negatively of the onion-shaped septic tank, but you'll see why in a minute, right? I'm giving you the pros and the cons. If you want to get an onion tank, get one, right? I've put many of them in, but there's a surpassing way. All right, so let me just give you the pros and the cons about the onion-shaped septic tank. Now, all right, so when you get one, you need a big digger, all right? You need a big digger, but that's not all. Unless you actually concrete these onion-shaped septic tanks in, the companies that sell them will not warranty them. So yes, you've saved a couple of £100 buying the onion tank up front, but not only have you got to spend another £300-400 on getting the right digger to dig a massive hole, you've now also got to spend £600-700-800 on I'll get my words out in a minute, concreting these onion tanks in. And you know, as I said, I've put many of these in, and they're horrendous. You're looking, man alive, look, let me just put it in perspective for you, right? It takes you a day or 2 days to dig the hole, right? Then you've got to put the concrete in. You put it in wet. It takes another 2 days to dry. Let me show you some actual examples of some concrete. I mean, look, there you go. That gives you a sense of scale, right? That guy there, right, he's not a dwarf, but let's say he's 5.5, 6 foot tall. I mean, he's standing on top of the tank there, and the tank neck's up to his shoulders, right? He's on top of the tank. That tank is another flipping 7, 8 foot below him, right? It's a big, big, big hole, right? It's a big hole that he's had to flipping dig there. That is no mean feat. You can see that's a hell of an excavation. And now he's flipping, oh man. So look, so this gives you a sense of scale. So look, so there's another onion tank in, big, big, big hole. As you can see, they're starting to concrete around the side of it. If you don't concrete it in, the companies won't warranty them. So there you go. There's another example of an onion, just trying to make it a bit bigger for you, of an onion tank in the ground there. There we go. So you can see that's a deep, deep, deep hole. And now they've got to concrete that. So these septic tanks, right, you save £200 buying them up front. Yes, you do. But then you end up spending like £1,500 to flipping put the things in, and they take you 3 to 4 times longer. And let me just show you one more thing here, right? Let me show you one more thing. Hold on. What am I trying to do here? There we go. That's what I'm trying to show you. So that's what a cross section of it looks like, okay, with the concrete in. But there's one thing I forgot to say, actually. Before you put it in, as soon as you've dug the hole, right, septic tanks are prone to popping out the ground because you can't just do it all in one day. So you've got to dig the hole, then you've got to put the tank in. If there's any moisture or water in the hole, it'll just push the tank straight up back out of the ground again. So you've got to anchor them down. Now, these anchors are about £200 themselves. You've got to get special straps, like you can see, and you've got to have a concrete lintel at the bottom, and these actually weight the tank down. Only once they're weighted down can you then put the concrete around the tank. So that's what they'll look like there, okay? And so for me, again, once more, I say to you, I'm not demonizing onion septic tanks, but I'm just showing you there is a surpassing way. Now, you're probably wondering, what is the surpassing way, Jason, right? All right, well, let me show you. I accidentally showed you one of the pictures here before, but there you go. This septic tank here now, these are called shallow dig septic tanks. You can see how shallow that is, right? I mean, he's just dug it with a small 1.5 ton digger, and it's really shallow in there. So let me put this in perspective for you. Let me show you how technology has moved on. All right, let me show you this. All right, so that's your onion tank, and that's the concrete, and that's the hole. Let me show you this, right? Now, contrast it to this. There's the hole for, and wait for this, the bullet style shape septic tank. So this is what I'm making the comparison to. Technology has moved on a lot. These bullet shaped style septic tanks are amazing. They're a joy to put in. You can literally get them in within, instead of it taking 4 days with these onion tanks, you can literally get the bullet shaped septic tank in within 2 hours, right? From start to finish. Compare that with 4 days with this onion tank. It's just nuts, mate. So that is the difference in height, okay? That's the difference in height. And the beauty about these bullet style shaped septic tanks is that you only need to put shingle around it, right? You only need to backfill with shingle. Obviously that's a cross section and the shingle will come out here. But I just wanted to show you the difference. So you dig a hole, takes 40 minutes. You put your low profile shallow dig septic tank in, backfill with shingle, cover with soil, job done. That is the difference between the two. So yes, the onion tanks do cost about 200 quid cheaper than the bullet kind of shaped septic tanks, but right, you can use a small digger, so you're going to save 300, 400, 500 quid on your digger straight away by using a low profile tank. You're not spending 800, 900 quid on concrete. So what are you up to now? 1100 quid. It hasn't taken you 4 days to do. So if you consider 2 hours and flipping 1500 quid cheaper, right, than an onion shaped septic tank, for me, that's why I personally prefer the shallow dig septic tanks. There it is. So here's your comparisons here. There you go. So these are actual, you can see for yourself. So these tips that I'm giving you are just tips of the trade that I've learned over the years. And they will save you a lot of time. You can see the depth in that. That's just nuts. And it's scary. And he's even actually got, right, concrete on the bottom of there, right? They put concrete base on. He's put it on a massive concrete slab. You know, it's just a pain in the backside, these onion tanks are. So that's, for me, that's why I prefer these shallow dig septic tanks any day. So there you go. So that's a free tip that I've given you today. So before next time you're in the builder's yard and they say, yeah, we got these onion tanks in and they're 200 quid off and you can buy them for 399, and you're thinking, great, please consider the cost and the time it's going to take to put an onion tank in. And then that's not all, because the actual soakaway pipe here is a minimum of 1 meter down. The soakaways for these onion tanks are horrendous. So let me give you a quick example here, right? Let me show you the difference in depth of the soakaways. Right, so an onion tank, an onion tank soakaway. Let me just take this bullet tank off because it wouldn't go through there. All right, so, and let me just fill this, take the shingle in and fill the hole back in. So the onion tank soakaways, right, start at that kind of depth, right, at least 1 meter below the grass, if not more. Can you imagine the depth of the hole that you've got to dig for flipping your soakaway the size of a flaming football field there? Now, let me give you the comparison of the height of the soakaways for the bullet type septic tanks. There you go. All right. Oops, sorry. That's the difference in height on the soakaway. So you can see with the shallow dig tanks, everything about them is cost effective. There's less hassle, there's less time, there's less money spent out. So the bullet style septic tanks will save you hundreds, if not thousands of pounds, and you'll get it done in hours instead of days. So that's basically the difference between the two tanks there. All right, so for me, as I said, if I just go back to these pictures here, there you go. You can see the shallow dig septic tank that's in the ground there. Now have a look at that compared to that. I mean, look at this guy, right? I know I keep going back to this picture, but that says it all, right? This is a 6 foot guy, right? He's standing on top of the onion tank. There's another 7 or 8 foot below this guy, right? And compare that to that. I mean, there you go. All right. Well, look, if I put it in comparison, the bottom where he's standing is where the bottom of the bullet-shaped septic tank would be, right? So that gives you an idea of how shallow they are. All right, so I think I've made that point. So here's something else that will save you a lot of time and the money. If you want some more free tips and advice, then just go to septictank.co.uk. I've done loads of videos, free advice on there, right? And you can do lots of comparisons, but I just wanted to show you this, right? You can go to the shallow dig septic tanks here. So just click on, go to septictank.co.uk. As I've said, it's here. And then these are the low profile, heavy duty HDPE tanks I was telling you about. They're just amazing, these tanks are. Absolutely amazing, right? Because they're shallow, they take a couple of hours to get in, and they're just fantastic. And you literally just put it in the ground, backfill with shingle and cover with topsoil. It literally is that quick. But I just wanted to show you this, right? If you go to my site there, you'll see a section here called septic tank and soakaway kits, right? If you click on that, you'll see I do soakaway kits. So I actually sell the entire septic tank and soakaway. So instead of having to spend 5, 6, 7,000 quid in a septic tank and soakaway, you can get a complete septic tank and soakaway now for like 1,499 quid. It's unheard of, but look, every little helps, right? That's why I love what I do. I just love helping people. So with the septic tank soakaway kit, I'll show you what you get. You get all the pipe work. You get the inspection chamber, you get the septic tank, and you get the septic tank crates, you get the membrane, and it's a complete kit that takes you literally 2 hours to install. So there you go. So that's the difference, right, between an onion-shaped septic tank and the low-profile septic tank. So look, the choice is yours. At the end of the day, right, I just like giving people options. So at the end of the day, you can get yourself a massive onion tank, right? You can dig a massive hole. You can spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds concreting it in, days doing it, 3 or 4 days. I mean, look, we've talked about the depth of the hole on these onions. They're just horrendous, whereas the actual low-profile septic tank is just where his feet are. This goes down another 7 or 8 feet. And then you've got to put the soakaway in at that depth too. So you can do that, right? You can spend all that time messing around. Or you can just get yourself a simple septic tank and soakaway kit. So there's no concrete needed. They're just like really shallow. Takes about 40, 50 minutes to dig the holes, put it in, cover it over with soil, job done. So there you go. So listen, thank you very much for taking the time to watch my live broadcast today. As I said, more information, just go to septictank.co.uk. And listen, yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this broadcast today. Have a great weekend. I'll speak to you soon.